Good morning, class. How are you today? This is your teacher, Miss Judy N.C. Pataksil for P and Health subject. Welcome to P and Health subject. The lesson that we are going to tackle today is about the energy systems. Since we are done discussing about the aerobic bone muscle strengthening exercises, now we will proceed to a new lesson, which is the energy systems. Objectives. At the end of the lesson, students will be able to differentiate the different types of energy systems, and recognizes the importance of energy systems in our body. So after the discussions, you will be able to differentiate the different types of energy systems and recognizes the importance of energy systems in our body. Looking back to your lesson, our body needs specific amount of energy when we do physical activities. When we exercise, a low or high amount of energy is supplied to muscles depending on the duration, intensity, and nature of the exercise. When we say duration, it is the length of time for each bout of any specific activity. And when we say intensity, it is the rate of energy expenditure necessary to perform the activity to accomplish the desired function or the magnitude of the force exerted during resistance. Or when we say intensity, it is the speed of the physical activities that you do. So activities like sprinting and jumping require a large amount of energy used in short period of time. On the other hand, marathon running and long-distance swimming require low but steady amount of energy over a longer period of time. It is important for our body to get the energy it needs to be effectively perform these physical activities. The food that we eat is a source of energy. Eating before doing exercise can contribute to performance. There is a complex chemical process called cellular respiration, in which our body takes in food and uses it to convert and produce adenosine triphosphate or ATP. When we say cellular respiration, it is a set of metabolic reactions and processes that take place in the cells of organisms to convert chemical energy from oxygen molecules or nutrients into adenosine triphosphate or energy and then released waste products. ATP supplies energy to muscle cells for muscular contraction during physical activity. So what is adenosine triphosphate? Adenosine triphosphate or ATP is the source of energy that is used to power the movement of contraction in working muscles and the body's biochemical way to store and transport energy. We also have creatine phosphate. Like ATP is stored in muscle cells. When it is broken down, a large amount of energy is released. Three energy systems work together as we exercise. However, a specific energy systems can dominate depending on the intensity and type of activity that is being done. Creatine phosphate or CP. So this pictures shows as an example of how creatine phosphate work from at rest to at work. Now, let's proceed to what are the three energy systems. First, we have the anaerobic alactic or ATP CP. Energy system anaerobic alactic or ATP-CP is a dominant source of muscle energy for high-intensity physical activities. It provides high bursts of startup energy that lasts around 10 seconds or less. ATP-CP or adenosine triphosphate creatine phosphate provides immediate energy without requiring any oxygen or anaerobic and does not produce lactic acid or alactic. Many athletes who participate in sports competitions require short amounts of acceleration. Athletic events like the shot put, weightlifting, and 100-meter sprint are examples of physical activities that utilize the ATP-CP energy systems. When we say ATP-CP energy system, it is the combination of adenosine triphosphate and creatine phosphate. Anaerobic lactic glycolytic energy system anaerobic lactic is also known as the glycolytic energy system, an energy system that supplies energy for medium to high intensity physical activities. These high intensity activities usually last from 10 seconds to 2 minutes. When an athlete sprints for 400 meters, lactic acids build up in blood and muscle cells. Normally, there is a shortness of breath and a burning sensation in the muscles when lactic acid is produced. Same as with ATP-CP, the anaerobic lactic system does not require oxygen but is capable of supplying energy for high-intensity activities. The difference between the two systems is amount of time that the system can work. Thus, if an athlete exceeds 10 seconds while sprinting, the anaerobic lactic system kicks in to provide energy. Now, let's proceed to aerobic energy system. Most of sports and activities use aerobic energy system. Aerobic energy system provides energy for low-intensity physical activities that last from 2 minutes to a few hours. Aerobic energy system compared to ATP-CP and glycolytic energy system requires much longer oxygen in muscles in doing physical activities like long-distance swimming, running, and playing sports. So in playing sports, we have many kinds of sports. But I have here three examples of sports that requires aerobic energy system. First, we have the futsal. Second, we have the soccer. And the third one, we have the basketball. If a person exercises for 8 minutes, aerobic energy system will become a dominant source of that person's energy. Aerobic energy system continually produces ATP energy to muscles as long as oxygen is available to muscles in the body. Unlike anaerobic lactic system, aerobic energy system does not produce lactic acid since oxygen is available to the muscles. Most sports and physical activities use these energy systems, though there are times when one energy system dominates during a specific type of physical activity. It is important to understand that all energy systems are active. Each energy system changes during the activity depending on its duration and intensity. Therefore, once we engage in physical activities or sports, all three energy systems may be in use but in varying degrees. Energy comes from what we eat, which are in the form of carbohydrates, glycogen, fat, and protein. So carbohydrates, our muscles live and store carbohydrate in what is known as glycogen. And glycogen is used as fuel by the body when it is broken down a glucose. And next we have the fat. So fat, it serves as insulation for the body to prevent heat loss. And the third one, we have the protein. So protein used for the repair and growth of body tissue. So to understand more about carbohydrate, I have here an additional lesson. So when digested is broken down to glucose and stored as glycogen in the muscles and liver. And glycogen can provide the energy for ATP production under both anaerobic or no oxygen required and aerobic, there is an oxygen required conditions. Second, we have the fat. Fat is a major source of energy for long-term activity, and fat is used to meet sub-maximal energy demands, and during rest conditions, fat produces the majority of the required ATP. And the last one, we have the protein. So protein only minimally contributes to ATP production. It is only used in severe circumstances such as a marathon or starvation. When the body has severely depleted its supplies of carbohydrate and fat. So, that's all for our lesson today. Do you have any questions? If none, let's proceed to your activity and to your quiz. For your quiz and for your activity, just follow the GAITF link on your screen. And if you have any more questions, just call me in my number 0955-0523-097. Goodbye and have a nice day.